That's what this is for.
Bring me the phone.
Was that just enough?
No.
He's here.
Yes,
You can see over my. On the right.
You please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Crane, Councillor Howe,
Here.
Councillor Weeks,
Here.
and Councillor Curry. We have a quorum. You may proceed.
If I could please get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If I could please get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to requests and responses from the audience. We do have a few signed up this evening, so if you could limit it to 3 minutes, we'd appreciate that. And so first up this evening is Oliver Bradley.
Mayor Lindsay, members of the council, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. What I'm proposing is to build $1 million action sports park for the price of a concrete slab and a shipping container. Within 1 month of the concrete slab being poured, we will have a high quality local skate park. Within 3 years, we will have a truly world-class facility that will be the envy of municipalities all over the US. It is a unique opportunity that will bring value in multiple ways to our community. My name is Oliver Bradley. I run an organisation called Overground Action Sports. I'm a former semi-professional skateboarder and lifelong BMX and mountain bike enthusiast. I run a business and I'm raising children in this community. I feel very lucky to have been successful here and would like to use my unique talents and experience to be able to give back to this community. I've been building and running large-scale skate and bike park projects for 25 years. In England, Holland, and more recently in Dallas, Texas, and San Francisco, California. I've been working with the village for 4 years now, advocating for a permanent park and running the Angel Fire Skate Festival, which now attracts around 1,200 people over the weekend. We will continue to build this event and will develop new bike and skate events which will attract new visitors to Angel Fire with all of the economic benefits to the local economy that will bring. We will always coordinate on the timing of events with the village. We will incorporate community participation with high-level competition and events for an extremely low cost to the taxpayer. Cost is a very obvious advantage to going with this approach, but there are many other advantages. encouraging our youth to have a stake in the community and to feel ownership of the project. Through construction classes, encouraging young people to go into the trades, art projects to encourage healthy expression, the physical and mental health benefits that come with action sports activities. We had great proof of concept last summer when we worked with Merino Valley Prep, construction class and kids from the community to create a spectacular skatable sculpture in the village. As you can see, there are some important differences between our community-led project and getting an out-of-town company to just build a park and leave. The proposal in short is this: Overground Action Sports will donate $200,000 in labour and materials to build and maintain and further develop the park. We will use our contacts, built over decades in the action sports industry, to recruit some of the best skate and bike park builders in the US to secure sponsorship, and we will also fundraise through grants and donations. We have significant community backing in support of this project. Offers of sponsorship and assistance from Builders First Source, the artist formerly known as Alpine Lumber, Merino Angels non-profit, several local contractors, and a relationship with Merino Valley Preparatory, as well as a list of volunteers standing by waiting to get involved. I'm very pleased to tell you that this proposal was endorsed by the Trails Committee with a unanimous vote, and I would like to ask for your support today. So thank you for having me, and if you have any questions, I'm here for you.
Thank you very much. Next up this evening, Trini Bradley.
Hello, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Council. What I would like to say is, all I want to ask is, I would like to challenge you guys to the balloons. Either sponsor a balloon, sponsor a barricade. The community needs our help. So with that said, I'd like to pass these out, and Jeff already did. That's all I have to say. Oh, by the way, I got approved to run for the board of pickup today. There you go. Thank you.
Next up this evening is Martha Ashley.
Okay. Mayor Lindsay and the council, thank you for having us. We're here to propose a horseshoe courts, like 6 to 10 courts. And we have a little proposal written up. I think Jeff has seen it. Why do we want to do this? Because it is a low-cost, fun event, a fun space for families, for friends, for a potential Angel Fire horseshoe team. And it's something that anyone can do, and I'm proof. Because I'm starting my 3rd year, and I've met some of the nicest people in the world. We've gone to Albuquerque, we went to Salt Lake City, we've competed in lots of events. But you don't have to compete to really enjoy horseshoes. And that's why we love to have a park here. One, our families, visiting families and locals could go to the park and just join and just play. And Lenny and I would provide just some training and some help with anyone who wants to learn. Another reason is that there's a National Horseshoe Association, and horseshoes are played all over the world. And in the United States, we could actually have tournaments here and bring New Mexico players. We could bring players from Colorado, Arizona, and feed our tourism in that aspect. So it not only addresses locals and visiting families here, but it would bring more revenue in, because people would want to come and stay the night. And one of the reasons that the National Association of Pitching, one reason New Mexico especially loves the idea of angler fire is it's a little bit cooler than Albuquerque. And it's certainly, it's cooler than Farmington. So I have provided this to you so that you can look through it and get an idea and maybe go to the site. It would require, we would love to do it in the parks area. And it would require 77 feet by 144 feet. It needs to be fenced, just for safety reasons, because each horseshoe is 2.5 pounds. So you don't want those just flying. And I can tell you, I used to get a point just for hitting the pit. The wonderful thing about the tournaments, should anyone want to be part of a tournament, is that you can be not so good as I am, and I play against people on my level. I don't have to play against Lenny Baker at 50%. I can play at 10, 20% ringers, which makes it a lot of fun for me. On the second page, we know this is fairly low cost. If you were to put in 6 courts, it would be probably around 26 by the time you do the labor for fence installation. So we put in all the details for 6 courts. For 10 courts, you're gonna hit 37K, maybe 38. We've been able to get bids from local companies, so we're very excited about this, because it's something anybody can do, and it would bring the community together, and it would bring people from the outside. Now, Lenny, do you have something you want to say about it?
Sure, there's a couple little spots that we could fill in. Part of the reason for the number of pits, in NHPA, which is National Horseshoe Pitching Association, worldwide, we had 650 contestants at Salt Lake City at the World Tournament. It's the first World Tournament I threw in, and that's awesome, and I've been throwing shoes for 19 years with NHPA. But anyhow, we put together just something to leave with the council. It's some ideas that we've got for pits. The reason for 6 pits, if we have 6 pits, we can do a NHPA tournament. If we have 10 pits, we can do and host a state tournament. There's 90 members in New Mexico, and if we had a state tournament here, we would probably have 80 of those people up here spending the night, eating in our restaurants, and enjoying the cool weather and having a state tournament. We have probably guaranteed 4 tournaments right away as soon as we have pits in. That would be NHPA. The reason for some of the rules that Martha mentioned is safety with NHPA. Because if they have a tournament, it has to be within their rules for safety. Because there's a certain amount of liability to it. There are some shoes that you don't use because they break. The Walmart shoe, the little chicky shoe, you wouldn't even really want to do them because if they break, the pieces slide places. A stake in the horseshoe pits are faced forward to suck the shoe down so it can't fly off the top. But anyhow, that's where that's at. I'm gonna leave this here that has details on pretty much anything that you guys would want to see. But other than that, horseshoes is totally awesome. Everything you do is based on percentage. That's how they know what categories you're gonna throw in. I'm right around 30 to 50%. That means when I go to a tournament, that's who I'm gonna throw against. If you're at 10%, you're gonna throw against 10% people. And it keeps it all equal, makes it more fun. When I started, it was in the parks at Scotia Springs. Every Wednesday night, all of us guys would get together, we'd throw horseshoes. Then that sucked me into NHPA, and right now I know, out of all the contractors and all the people that I know, we would probably start out with a club of at least 20 people. And it wouldn't be long before those 20 people are NHPA. We have 4 tournaments that we throw in Springer, and that's nice and close. And those tournaments pay money. So depending on the position that you finish in, you get money. And I thank you for letting me know. I know we're working with Parks Committee, and their next meeting is on the 17th. 16th. But that's quite a ways away, and I know I talked to Jeff, and he said it might be nice to get this in front of council and not wait this next 3 weeks, okay? But I appreciate you giving us the time, and I hope that we can put something together and have something really nice in the sporting events field. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
call us if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Yeah, finally on the list was Lenny Baker, so.
Yeah.
We got it in.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, we'll move on to any announcements and proclamations by the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to commend this administration, particularly for the 2 events we had today. The new fire station's gonna be awesome, and the affordable housing, workforce housing is so nice, I wanted to move in one of them.
Yeah, it was a great day. We did a groundbreaking ceremony for the new fire station and followed that up an hour later with the ribbon cutting at the workforce housing project. So it was a big day for
So I also have 2 reports.
Yes, sir.
The South Central Colfax County Special Hospital District Board met on March 23rd. They're working to increase their revenue and cut their expenses. And they're going back to providing gap prescriptions, which means if you see a medical personnel here and they prescribe something for you, they will give you up to 7 days worth of prescriptions while you get a chance to receive those through mail order or go to Taos or whatever. Likewise, if you come in town from out of state and left your prescriptions at home, you can go to the clinic and they will give you a gap prescription so that until you can get your prescriptions filled. So that sounded like a good thing.
Yeah.
Also, the PID, the Public Improvement District Board, met on March 12th. Of the original 874 PID lots, 333 are currently being assessed. What that means is they're making monthly and annual payments. All of the others were already paid in total, or they finished their payments. Now, out of that 333, 164 of those assessed lots are in a delinquency state, meaning the individuals are either behind on their payments or didn't make any payments, one or the other. So based on the current financials of the PID board, they may have to start paying their bills out of the reserve account, which they have by October 27 of 2027. Now, their reserve account is $500,000, so between people paying their assessments and that $500,000, that'll run them out for a while, but just to keep you updated.
Thank you very much. Mr. Weeks, do you have anything?
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, with, the Trails Committee is gonna have a meeting on April 16th at 8:30 here. And we're gonna start with, brainstorming for a comprehensive plan for Allen Field, so if any of the public wants to come.
Okay. Thank you very much. That wraps up the announcement by the council. We'll move on to staff reports. First up this evening, we have our planning and zoning director, Rick Aguilar.
My name is Mayor Lindsay, Councilor, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. Plan zoning starting to pick up. We've got 45 total permits for 2026. There's 22 new since February, so the last month it's kind of really picked up. 2 additions, 4 encroachment, 2 sign permits, 4 alteration, repair, 3 new construction, 7 permit extensions. And I still have 4 others that are pending, just missing a few items to get them processed through. We are caught up on all expired permits to this day as of March 31st. So moving on in April, we'll start to contact those that are still working that need to come in for an extension. We got 2 new lot combos in the last month. Still working with Luna on addressing. We've gotten quite a bit done. We're moving pretty good along on that part of it. Once it gets warmer, we'll try and work on getting the new poles in and stuff, but we're moving along pretty good on that. And then our next planning and zoning commission meeting will be this Thursday, April 2nd at 3 p.m. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is our project director, Rocky Lira.
Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir, Coach Strickland. My update today, the first will be workforce housing, which is one of the projects I've been working mostly on. We've completed all 6 units. 6 units are completely rented out. As of tomorrow, we will have all 6 of them occupants in those homes, just for everybody to know about that. As you know, this is just part of phase 1 of this workforce housing. We do have 24 more homes to put out in this project, which is still considered phase 1. So later on today, I'll be presenting an opportunity maybe for you to allow me to move forward with an RFP for 7 additional homes for purchase out of the grant monies that were awarded from Housing New Mexico. And then as well, and what's going on around in that same time is Sustainability Partners is working on a contract details for the remaining 17 homes. So we have those 2 things moving forward to address the 24 homes that are left for phase 1. And of course, we did have the ribbon cutting today. Thank you all for participated. It was very fun and exciting, and I think everybody enjoyed that. Any questions on workforce housing?
No, sir.
On the grants, I have applied for a Clean and Beautiful grant, basically for picnic tables and some upgrades for our event center, stationary trash barrels, a water bottle refilling station, some picnic tables and chairs and benches for that. And we've also asked for 2 cleanup days. We usually have one in spring and one in fall. So we'll see if we get that one. And I've also applied for a Senator Lujan direct spending project fund he had. And so we've been really wanting to get a concession stand with bathrooms out at Allen Fields. We have a lot of things going on at Allen Fields. And one of the things that are really essential is to have that concession stand with bathrooms. And so I put in for that as well. So that extends my report for today. When I have any questions on it, you have?
You know when you'll get a response for the bathroom if it's approved?
Probably about a month, about 30 days, because the grant just expired, so.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, there's actually 2 phases to that. One, does it make it out of the senator's request into the federal budget? And then the second one is the federal budget has to be approved. And keep in mind that it can be line item vetoed in the federal budget, so. But the senators get a bunch of applications, they select their projects, they go to the federal budget, and then the federal budget's approved, and then we would be notified if we're in the federal budget.
Thank you for clarity, Manager Weir. Just any other questions you have?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next up this evening is our Public Works Director, Kurt Epler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland, Manager Weir. Quick update on departments of Public Works in streets. I'm sure as many of you are aware, we have some staffing challenges in streets as we have one operator out with a long-term illness and lost another operator who's recruited over to a different department. Unfortunately, both of them were seasoned blade operators. Do have another operator that is stepping up and doing very well in the learning process in the motor grader and has been
working on some spots that need recovery work as we entered springtime. Recently, that has been the focus is working a few high traffic areas that definitely needed it. We're making a big push to get some of those areas addressed as we're soon going to be starting the excavation work on the new fire station. Really hoping to start turning dirt on the week of the 6th on the new fire station. We'll be doing the over excavation on it. I do want to announce that in the last 2.5 weeks, the streets department has installed and replaced over 200 street signs throughout the village with a high visibility white with the green backing. Some areas where they had the old wooden street signs with the brown signs, we've pulled them up and installed new signs. We still have probably over 200 more to go. We'll be resuming that work in June after we're done with some fire station work and workforce housing. Any questions for streets?
As I get older, I can actually read them better. They're easier to read.
4 years will start making them even big. I do want to announce that our hope is to resume the work back on the workforce housing infrastructure in mid-May. In the water department, I'm happy to announce that our first round of work with the Astera program, which is the satellite leak detection technology, their staff came out and in these highlighted areas precisely pinpointed 9 leaks, and all have been resolved by the water department crew. We'll say that one of those leaks was very significant. It was a fire hydrant off of 434 over near Faria Road in one of those boggy areas. It's hard to notice that it was leaking because there's almost always water there. But it was a significant enough leak that after it was repaired, they noticed that the 1 million gallon tank recovered and filled quicker.
Wow, that's impressive.
So yeah, it was a bunch. And again, down to one leak that was a frost-free yard hydrant that needed a little adjusting because it wasn't completely sealing. So they picked up that small of a leak.
Wow.
There were some areas that they investigated that we know there is an issue there, but with the listening technology that they use to pinpoint these leaks, there is so much water running underground that the equipment was picking up the spring water under the ground.
Oh, good.
So, fire hydrant repair is going to be #1 priority for water department. We did actually resolve 7 last week. We have about 32 more to go. Of those 32, probably half of them are significant repair or replacement. So they're gonna take a little more time. One of our biggest challenges in replacing some of these hydrants is isolating the hydrant. In some cases, we have to isolate a section of road because there's no isolation valve for the fire hydrant. I'm happy to announce that the booster station upgrades, which I had announced were 99.5% complete, I think I said, are now 100% complete and performing wonderfully. Any questions on water? Okay. Solid waste just took delivery of 38 new dumpsters. They do have a different hooking mechanism, bear-proof hooking mechanism that we think is gonna help solve the problem of all those doors on the right getting bent in the truck, so hopefully those will work out. Solid Waste is continuing to do a wonderful job keeping the recycling center clean, and I just found out this morning that the crew to install the scales is supposed to be here Monday morning, so fingers crossed. Any questions on solid waste? Okay. Maintenance, the majority of their work is, right now has been, cleaning up cinders on the edge of the road. They've been working pretty diligently on Bill Burgess Boulevard. and we'll continue to do so. And, I gotta say, I kinda hope that we have to spread cinders on that road one more time. We could use a bit of snow, so. If there's no further questions,
Manager Weir?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanna emphasize the importance of the booster pump project. It just sounds like to the layman who may not understand the importance of this. But as Kurt once told me, we've got all the fire hydrants fixed, or most of them now. And that was quite a few that were fixed. But without having water for those fire hydrants, it's like having lights with no electricity. And the booster pumps in our valley are key because we have to pump water from the base of the valley all the way to the top of the mountain. And these booster pumps, I don't know how long it's been since they had been replaced, 20 years?
well, real quickly, you know, the biggest benefit of it is essentially the booster pumps were sized and designed to feed the system and its demand. Anytime there was an interruption, if a tank got empty due to a leak or whatever, the recovery rate was really slow. Probably one of the biggest issues is the initial design did call for 2 pumps of smaller size. A couple of years ago when I started the job, every booster station only had one of those pumps in. So obviously when it was a failure, it was a big issue. So we knew we needed to address that. But we also realized that with the use of a variable frequency drive, essentially like a volume or a speed control on a pump, we could upsize the pumps and still operate them with the same power consumption and everything as the smaller pumps. But when the time came that we needed to really bump a lot of water uphill, we could turn them up in a bigger pump. And I've got to say the results that we got were better than I could have imagined. The scenario I use over and over is the east side of the village was always more vulnerable to slow recovery times after a major leak. It was Labor Day weekend of 2024. We had a significant leak that caused 2 tanks to get depleted. And over the course of that Labor Day holiday, we were maintaining inches of water in the tank. We could barely keep up with demand. And after that, and of course, you know, town was dead, not as many people. It took a full 2 weeks to recover all the tanks up the hill. We had one incident since we've had the new booster stations upgraded in regards to tank 9, which was a particularly vulnerable tank where the recovery rate on the tanks down below it was so slow. They had such a hard time filling up to get water to tank 9. And that tank alone, once you got water to it, it was 2 to 3 days to get it filled. When we had this leak that emptied that tank, we filled it in 3 hours.
Wow, that's great.
Okay, so we hope with our newly formed infrastructure committee that we're planning field trips, and I want to get them out and show them, you know, it's one of those hugely significant improvements that's just not visible for the public to see out there.
And Mr. Mayor, just to wrap that up, I just wanted to tell the audience that is your GO bond or general obligation bond dollars at work. We were able to afford that because of the general obligation bond money that you all voted for and approved for us to have. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that, because like Kurt said, when we're spending money on the roads and things like that, you may see it, but these booster pumps, which are way in the background, you may not even realize the importance of them. And it's very important not only to make sure you have water, but to make sure that the fire department has water in the case of fire or something like that. It's a strategic part of our infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Okay, that concludes our staff reports. Moving on to new
Are we
business.
doing finance?
Oh, I'm sorry. Tried to skip Adrian. Tried to get letting off.
This close. Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager and Clerk. Just real quick, for the fiscal year 27 budget, which will actually start until July 1st, we've already began those drills. Finance has already worked with all the directors and chiefs, and they've turned in their initial numbers. We have those. This week, we've been smashing those together. Next week, we'll begin just from the preliminary look, we're gonna have to trim some stuff away, because obviously round one it's basically a wish list. It's, if we could get everything, what would you get? And so now we've actually gotta come up with a budget where the expenses are sustained by the revenues. And so that's what we'll be doing next week. Just for a little bit of perspective, this cuts drill is happening, well, it'll be at the beginning of April. This budget actually isn't due until this spring, so we're doing it early. The reason why we're doing it early is because, for one, we don't want to be late on it, and for two, knowing what those numbers are is gonna help the directors and chiefs to go ahead and start making decisions that they probably should be making now, that spring is arriving, versus waiting. We don't wanna keep them in limbo. So if we let them know now what those budgets are gonna look like in the future, it can help them for project planning, things like that. Now, along with that is going to be, obviously, for you guys are gonna be making decisions earlier. And so, you can probably expect that we're gonna start having some conversations about things that we wanna do as a village, over this summer and going into the fall. ClearGov, so one of Manager Weir's initiatives they put before me when I got here was that he wanted to make financial data transparent to the village. And so ClearGov was the vendor that we ended up choosing for that. We've been working with them over this past month. Basically what they've been doing is working with us just to kind of understand what our data looks like and to understand what it is we want it to look like whenever we put it out there for the public. We've worked through all the bugs at this point, and so now we're at the point now where basically they're just gonna go ahead and do a presentation for us to show us what that data looks like. It's already out there in the cloud, but right now, we're the ones looking at it, and so once we're happy with the way that looks, they're basically just gonna flip the switch, and then once they do that, all that data is gonna be available for everyone to see. And so it's the primary feature that Manager Weir wanted to see in there was that he wanted the village to be able to look at that data and understand that when we're cutting checks, who they're going to and what they're going for. And so we put a lot of effort towards that, making sure that as those checks go out the door, we're providing narrative with each one of those that gets to the point, but also makes people understand what it is that we're purchasing. So once that switch is flipped, anyone will be able to go in there into ClearGov and look under Angel Fire. And along with that, the finance team is gonna offer up training to council. And so if you guys wanna know where to go and how to look at it, we're more than happy. However, you guys choose to do that, either as a group or just individually, if you wanna swing by, we'll show you how to do that. So that data is typically gonna be, it's not gonna be real time. It's based off of the conversations that we've had, it looks like it's probably gonna have about a 2-month lag, just because the way it works in our world, things don't immediately get accounted for. There's stuff that you go back and you reconcile later on. And we don't want that data to say one thing today and then tomorrow it says something else after reconciliation takes place. So the data will only be updated. It'll be approximately 2 months behind, but the data, once it's out there, it's gonna be sound. So, and I stand for any questions. Yes.
So how are we looking on the revenue side?
Are we talking about for FY 26?
Yes.
Currently, honestly, it looks better than we feared. When we initially saw that I'm new to this area anyway, so, and just, I naturally think that the sky is falling. And so my thing when I got here to the village was, if the snow's not falling, the sky's falling. And so I kind of immediately went to Manager Weir and told him, hey, I want to go ahead and start adjusting some of these numbers now, just in case. And as the season progressed, it got harder and harder to sleep at night because I was becoming more and more worried about what those revenues were gonna look like. But honestly, they've held up better than I thought they were going to. When we look at them year over year, I won't go so far as to say that we're seeing, it ramped up, but we're also not seeing it fall off either. So I think it'd be fair to say, for the most part, it's flat, in some areas a little bit higher than we anticipated. So overall, we feel good about where we're at right now, given what I was fearing we might end up looking at this point. So in a couple of weeks, we're gonna get to see what January's GRT looks like, because we haven't received that yet. And so April 1st is gonna be tomorrow, so we expect that to start coming in. And then that's what's really gonna tell, because January's traditionally been the big earner in GRT for the village. So the next couple of weeks, we're gonna get an idea about really what this winter looked like for us.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move on to new business. Item A, I'd like to open discussion to approve the recognition of Officer Sanchez in achieving his intermediate certification. Chief Hogan.
Mr. Mayor, council, clerk and manager, thank you. The audience, thank you guys for coming out to recognize Richard's accomplishment tonight. I'm very proud. As you know, Richard worked for me when I was sheriff of Taos County. He followed me over here. He's been a tremendous asset to the department, as all of our officers have been. Richard's desire when he interviewed and talked to me was to advance his training curriculum. And we're very proud that in a short amount of time, he has already achieved his intermediate certification for law enforcement. And in addition to that, he took some training classes and is now a general police lecture instructor, in addition to being an intermediate. So Richard, with this, I want to present you with this plaque for your intermediate certification, and thank you for being part of that. And again, audience, thank you for being here.
That's for you.
Okay, Richard, now, go rent some tickets.
Thank you. Moving on to item B, like to.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Item A is an action item, so it does require a vote.
Okay, we will, there's no further discussion. I'll leave it up to Clerk Strickland for a roll call vote on item A. First, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve recognition of Officer Sanchez in achieving his intermediate certification.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item A. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Hap.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Okay, now moving on to item B. I'd like to open discussion to approve to move forward with updates, amendments to chapter 9-7-8 of the village ordinance. Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. In your packet, you have a draft ordinance for consideration to move forward to start the discussions with P&Z and also come back to you for final ratification. I just want to highlight some of the items in the ordinance. For the first 3 pages, you'll note there's some strike throughs. It's really to have the ordinance mirror the rest of the statutes where we talk about a building official that all aligns in the same path. You get to page 4, you start to see some additions that have been added to this draft to represent 2000 Kelvin's level on lights. And those are the 2 big revisions in this that we're asking to take forward. As you get towards the end, again, this mirrors some of the revisions we've done to ordinance where we talk about fines and fees based on resolution rather than in the ordinance itself. So again, we want to bring forward to P&Z something that kind of mirrors the rest of the amendments that have already been pushed through. And so we'd like to get a positive action on this. We are going to mention it Thursday at the P&Z hearing and the planning director's report to give the members a heads up that this is something we'd like to schedule for their upcoming meetings as well. and stand for any questions you might have.
Any questions?
So there's a timeline, there's a limit for when folks need to be into compliance, and I think that's another, towards the last page of what you have before you, is that it's rather than having 5 years out or 7 years out, there's actually a time, there's a date, 2027 or 2029. And at 2027, you'll get notice by mail, in 2029, if you're in violation. So we're trying to capture all that language in this draft, but it's still going to be a conversation that you're gonna see at P and Z and also back here at the council. But I think what this is trying to capture is, a year ago, the ordinance started in a different spot, and it started to evolve to where we are today. We still have to get it through these two bases with P and Z and back to you. So if there's some additional revisions that you would recommend, that would be captured in those talks as well.
Would you also have, just like Firewise, would you have somebody come out to see if your house is in compliance?
I believe the idea is to have code compliance brought into this, because this will go into Title IX and the supplemental regulations, where we're just gonna expand that provision for exterior lighting. And so ideally, when someone comes in for building permit, we're gonna need to see more details on a lighting plan for external lights, that we can then show on record that these are compliant with the new ordinance when it's adopted. There's also a timeline for when this would be enacted after it's voted by the council to take precedent. So yes, I think ideally that's where folks would want to come in line, because there's a recognition to try to make a dark sky recognition for Angel Fire, and this is in line to do that, so. And again, if there's gonna be a conversation at P and Z, and there's also gonna be a conversation when we bring it back to you for final ratification, if there's still some tweaks that we need to consider, we'll have an opportunity to do that. But I do feel that from where the conversation originally started to where we are today, I think the ordinance has gotten better, to move forward and again, seek favorable action so that we can keep this moving.
What about streetlights?
Yeah, I think all of that is all encompassed with this ordinance, is that it's not just private homes, it's streetlights as well. Parking lot lights, all of those would have to be in this compliance. And that there's language to say that the council has the discretion to set up what would fines be by resolution. So as a resolution, they could look at it differently and more frequently, instead of adopting a revised ordinance as well. So yeah, it's a comprehensive amendment that isn't just limited to private property, but all properties within the village. And I think the committee's done a lot of extra homework and a lot of outreach in trying to make this to a point where we can have this conversation today, where I think taking the next two steps, I think are perfect in alignment to where they are now, with all the conversations that everybody's been having. I mean, I remember conversations with you at the table in the committee about exterior fixtures and how many and how bright and what are the standards people are using in their construction now. I think this is a document worth moving forward. And again, if there are some additional revisions that we can talk about, we can do that at those hearings. But ideally, this is at a better spot that I think, for consideration.
Mr. Mayor, yes, I just wanted to say that we did have an analysis done, based on today's dollar. For the village to come into compliance is gonna be about $65,000. Since we have time to do this, our plan is to spend about $20,000 a year over the next 3 years. To come into compliance, the first thing we're gonna do is all the lights on North Angel Bill Burgess that are not currently working will be replaced with night sky compliance tops, which include the bulb and everything. It'll be brought up to this code. We're just waiting on this to be passed before we start that process. So the village, to me, it's a lot less than I thought it was gonna be. To be frank, 65,000, 20,000 over the next 3 years is very palatable for our budget.
Well, this has been a very complex topic, and I thank the committee for all the work that you've done. And I think we're at the point now where it's gonna work for everyone.
If there's no further discussion, Counselor Howe, would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve to move forward with updates / amendments to chapter 9-7-8 of the village ordinance.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item B. Mayor Pro Tem Crane? Counselor Howe?
Aye.
Counselor Weeks?
Aye.
And Counselor Curry? Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Okay, item C, I'd like to open discussion to approve the Night Sky Committee to contact Dark Sky International for code review and recognition. Mr. Zentera?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Village Council, Mr. Manager and Village Clerk. Looks like the first part of my speech here was to try to convince you to do what you just did. So I can throw that out. But if you're interested, part of my presentation tonight would be talking about retrofitting for individual residences. And we did do a study and found out, I could go into details if you want, I have slides and everything, but since you already passed this, I can hold off on that for a later discussion. But generally speaking, we figured that for a standard house, if you wanna call it a standard house in Angel Fire, what that would be, we figured something with about 16 coach lights, some entry lights and a couple of spotlights. The retrofit would be only about $480 in today's dollars. So again, I can go into more details, but actually the real reason I'm here now is to follow up with the Dark Sky International Code recognition. Now, to do this, there's a $250 fee that must be given along with our application. And our application can't be made until the actual ordinance is passed. And so at this point, I'm asking for a commitment by the village for the $250 fee. And I'll actually say, if you're not willing to do it, I would do it. I'm so excited about this. Just the way I am. This is the way I roll.
Hey, Gary, could I ask you real quick too?
Sure.
Could you probably get some of that literature that you could have here where when people come in, they could probably pick up some of that literature maybe at the visitor center?
Sure. Visitor center, okay.
I think here and the visitors.
Yeah, I'd like some of your.
Here at the village hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Counselor Crane?
Sure, thanks. I'll point it out. I don't know if everybody can see from here. This is kind of angled.
And you can turn the TV.
Oh, I can, good.
Yeah, if you can adjust it, there you go, just to let everybody get a look.
All right. One of our
For council.
committee members, this is Shelley's house. She wanted to retrofit her house, and that's what my presentation was going to be tonight. The cost of it was at $480. As you can see at the garage doors here, she has coach lights. And this is with the a daytime picture, of course. And as you can see on the coach lights, there's no shielding at all. They're frosted, but there's no shielding to make the light go down. The light will go in all directions. Okay, next slide, please. And this is what it would look like at night, which is quite messy. Yeah, it's a lot of glare,
and a lot of the light is shining up away from where it's needed. Also, the temperature of the bulbs, and I need to talk a little bit about that. You've heard of wattage and lumens and all kinds of things. Essentially what this is, this K is for degrees Kelvin, which is a physics term for converting Celsius temperature into a temperature that's workable for calculating to absolute zero. So it's not something we're concerned about, but these bulbs are rated by this type of wavelength, and this is really what they call a correlated color temperature. And if you have a correlated color temperature above 2000 kelvins, you get a big spike of blue light. And that blue light causes a lot of light pollution in the atmosphere right above Angel Fire. So this 3500 K bulb is so bright that it will hurt your eyes, and it will also shine up into the atmosphere. So even if you're away from this house, a few blocks or even a mile away, you'll see a light dome from lights from this house and others like it. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here's again, these are a couple of more coach lights. This is on another garage door, and this is on an entryway. Okay, next slide, please. Now this is what the 2000 Kelvin bulbs.
So different.
Yeah, it's equivalent to a 60-watt light bulb, but believe me, we had a representative from Crossroads LED come in here a month or two ago, and he had to shut all the lights off in here, and he turned one of these on in the back, and it was actually brighter than the lights in here. It just has a kind of a yellow shade to it, and that cuts down on the blue light, and that's key, to cut down on the blue light. And so if we all had, if all of Angel Fire just went out and I'm not trying to say this because I think they should be shielded too, but if they didn't even shield it, and we all changed over to these LED lights at 2000 Kelvin or less, we would get rid of 70% of the light pollution.
That's extraordinary.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
So, that's like Manager Ware said, we found out that we could do these changeovers for a lot less money. And these bulbs in here cost about $3 a piece. And they last about 10 to 12 years.
Does it say on the bulb what it is, how many?
Yes, yeah, when you order them online, you could order them like through Amazon or whatever. And so it's really a great asset. And again, I do a lot of star parties, and hopefully some of you will come to some of my star parties, because to get our dark sky community status, we have to get star parties. So you're gonna see me doing that. And when you come out, I ask you to bring a red flashlight or a red light to put on your cap.
Yeah.
And that way the red light or this less than 2000 or less Kelvin will not harm your night vision. And that's the whole key here. See? Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, and this is here, I should go and get you. Yeah, and this is part of the retrofit. This is one of them, and this is one for the coach light. You just take this shield, and if this is the socket inside the coach light, you put this around the socket, put the bulb in, screw it in, and it's in. It holds it in. And this thing costs this thing is $18 a piece. And then they have another one, for some of them, and they're different sizes for spotlights and whatnot. It has a clamp feature. It either goes over the socket or goes over the light itself. And you can get these all online. This one is, believe it or not, smaller, but it's more expensive because of the clamps, I guess, $21. So again, for not as much money as you would expect, we could make this whole area into a dark sky friendly community.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And we have such a beautiful night sky. That's why I moved personally. That's why I moved out here.
Yeah.
I have an observatory. I'd be happy to give you guys a tour. I write for the Taos News. You can see some of my deep space object photographs I've done. I used to live in Chicago, but the only thing I could do in Chicago is take a picture of the moon. That's all I can see. Everything else is blotted out. So the move is on, and actually it's not just us, but there are other communities around here that are adopting ordinances like ours. So we're really happy to see that much interest in it.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide, please. This is another view of one of the shields. And then is that it? Is it-
One more. This is
Okay,
it.
one more please. And then here you can see a side by side again, so you can see the difference.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. And even though it's a little different color, you can see it shines the area quite well.
Oh, yeah.
It even looks, in some areas, it even looks like more illumination, like right by the doors where you really want to need it. Yeah, when you're coming in out of the garage. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. And next, again, I'm asking for approval for the fee to apply for a dark sky community recognition by the International Dark Sky Association. So any more questions or discussion?
I would ask for a motion for Gary to pay for it.
You really want to.
In all seriousness, I think maybe a motion, in the event that the dark sky ordinance does pass, that we would approve, the $250 fee, to accompany the application.
I make a motion to approve the Night Sky Committee to contact Dark Sky International for code review, recognition, and provide a check for $250.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item C. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and go ahead.
Oh, no, did you have anything else?
No, not on this item.
Moving on to item D, I'd like to open discussion to approve proclamation 2026-01, International Dark Sky Week. Mr. Zimmer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for the audience here, because the council has already done this last year, this is a black and white copy of a proclamation, and I'll read through it very quickly. It says, whereas the aesthetic beauty and wonder of the natural night sky is shared heritage of all humankind, and whereas the experience of standing under a starry night sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe, encouraging a growing interest in science and nature, particularly among young people and visitors from outside and local communities. And whereas light pollution has scientifically established economic and environmental consequences, which result in significant impacts on the ecology and human health of all communities. And whereas 80% of the world's population, including many people in the village of Angel Fire, live under a dome of light pollution, excessive artificial lighting at night that disrupts natural darkness and may never experience the visual wonder of ecological and health benefits of living under a dark sky. And whereas light pollution represents a waste of natural resources amounting to roughly $3 billion per year of wasted energy in the US alone, and contributes to diminished energy security. And whereas Dark Sky International, a globally recognized authority on light pollution, recognizes International Dark Sky Week, which, by the way, I'd like to give a little commercial here if I may. The Dark Sky International Week will be the week that ends on the 17th and 18th, which is a Friday and a Saturday. I think it's the 13th through the 18th. And on Friday in Taos, the 17th, I'm gonna be at an exhibition at Bataan Hall from 4 to 7. And from the next day, Saturday, from 2 to 7. And there will be other astrophotographers like myself showing our work. Plus there will be advocates for astronomy and night sky protection there. And then we're gonna go out to Wild Rivers after that, Saturday night at 8:15. The park is letting us use it for free. And we're gonna have a star party out there with telescopes and also a little discussion of the night sky. So throwing that in since it's Dark Sky Week. So
Which month is that?
Pardon me?
Which month?
That will be April, I'm sorry. Yeah, not March. Okay, and so the therefore part is up to the village council if they accept it. But that's what this proclamation is, and we're asking the village council and the mayor to approve of this proclamation for this year as well.
Questions or discussion? Counselor, would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve proclamation 2026-01 International Dark Sky Week.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item D. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Thank you all.
Item E, I'd like to open discussion to approve actuals for meal reimbursements for Angelo Ledoux, Chief Vance.
Mayor Lindsay, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland, my topic is not nearly as exciting as that was. In the interest of time, I'm gonna basically, combine E, F, and G. They are all a result of the same action. While on deployment, Angel Fire Wildland crews have reimbursable expenses that will come out of pocket. Fuel charges are paid with a WEX card, room and board are paid with a credit card. However, meal expenses are paid out of pocket and fall under the actuals category for travel, which require at least a 10-day pre-approval by council. Due to the emergent nature of our deployment resource orders, 10 days is frequently or practically never available to us. Our plan to remedy this is the agenda item number, letter G, by placing a 1-year pre-approval for fire season for all wildland personnel while out on deployment to be approved for actuals while on travel. So for item E, we have the last deployment, we had actually E and F. We had 2 gentlemen that went out to the 352 fire and the Smith fire, which were east of and north of Tucumcari. While out on deployment, they accumulated meal charges. Appears one guy eats a lot more than the other. But for Angelo Ledoux, item E, $197.21. We ask that be reimbursed to him. And for item F, Santiago Gold, $237.38. I stand for any questions.
Any questions? We could get a motion on item E.
I make a motion to approve actuals for meal reimbursements for Angelo Ledoux.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item E. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to item F, if I could get a motion to approve actuals for meal reimbursements for Santiago Gold.
I make a motion to approve actuals for meal reimbursements for Santiago Gold.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item F. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Moving on to item G, if I could please get a motion to approve annual renewable agreement for wildland personnel meal reimbursement while on deployment.
I make a motion to approve annual renewable agreement for wildland personnel meal reimbursement while on deployments.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item G. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howell.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to item F, I'd like to open discussion to approve the request to proceed with RFP 2026-002 to purchase 7 manufactured homes from the workforce housing project. Rocky Lara.
Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland. What you have in front of you is a draft scope of work. It's about 95% complete. But I'm requesting approval to proceed with RFP 22602 to purchase the 7 additional homes for the workforce housing project. The RFP is scheduled to go to be posted on April 3rd, which is this Friday, for 2 weeks. And we would expect to select a vendor with our evaluation committee by the 22nd. And then we would present the selection to you, council, on the 28th of April.
Questions or discussion? If not, oh, yes.
Today I had that discussion with them at our ribbon cutting, and, they had no qualms about that whatsoever. It felt like it was a good idea, actually. Yeah. You were there in heart. I'd like to add, though, that, 2 of these 7 homes are gonna be ADA compliant homes, which would satisfy the total ADA compliant homes that we will need for the 30 for phase 1 workforce housing.
If there's nothing else, Counselor, how would you like to make a motion on item H?
Make a motion to approve request to proceed with RFP 2026-002 to purchase 7 manufactured homes for the workforce housing project.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item H. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item I, I'd like to open discussion to approve amend and restated service addendum change order number 1 through Sustainability Partners. Director Epler.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland, and Manager Weir. A little background on what necessitates this change order. This is related directly to the replacement of water meters and a replacement that involves replacing the entire meter can. There were initially 300 of these identified when we started the project that needed full can replacement, and that was in the original contract. The contractor that was hired to do these meter swaps essentially bid the project a little too low, lower than they could continue working on. They did complete 98 out of the 300. But we're not able to continue with the project. So in acquiring another contractor to complete the remaining 200, obviously their price came in a bit higher than what the previous contractor had bid. I will say that the current contractor we hope to move forward with definitely bid the job better, with a better understanding of what was in front of them. I will say it's not the ideal situation we wanted to be in, but I wanted to, again, make a few comments of the impact that these new meters have had on our community. First and foremost, once, starting in early December, once we fully implemented the notification capabilities of the project and the system, very quickly, we got a lot of information, we got a lot of alerts, a lot of leaks identified on the customer side. People that had leaks that were probably ongoing for years that were never known because the meters that were in place were just simply not functioning at all. This plays heavily on our water conservation. And again, I'll repeat, some of these leaks obviously have been going on for quite some time. In tracking water usage, we have started to see an impact in our revenues. And we've done a lot of things to improve our revenues, but I know these meters have had a huge impact on it. And obviously, we would want every meter replaced and everything fully in place by now. That's not the case, but we are definitely to a point where we need to push forward and get this project done and fully implemented. And it's already paying great dividends to us, and it's going to continue to do so. Manager Weir, do you have anything to add?
I just wanted to ask, because I do believe that, that Sustainability Partners is actually working with this new contractor. We were able to negotiate a price to where they're gonna be paying a portion of that. Even though their contract, in the contract, they had a contingency clause that they could have enforced, but they're definitely working with us, to move forward.
Absolutely.
We have some representatives from Sustainability Partners here, if you'd like to add anything.
Yes, Mayor Lindsay, thank you. Sure. Hello, thank you for having us today, Mayor Lindsay. It was great to see all of you. Thank you for welcoming us and having us at your wonderful groundbreaking today. We are here to show support for Angel Fire and the Water Meter Project, as well as Sustainability Partners. We understand that there's been some challenges. We've come up here a few times to meet and discuss the project. And Kurt and his team and Manager Wire have been really diligent about expressing their concerns moving forward. We've paid attention, we've listened, we've really done everything we feel in our power to try and make this as great as of a relationship that we know that we can be. There's been a lot of work on all sides in order to really rehabilitate the relationship from the beginning, and we're really excited to move forward. So we're here with myself and Hogan, who is also my counterpart, to answer any questions, any concerns that you might have. And we're really looking forward in this meeting to get due pass, since that seems to be the pattern today, which would be wonderful. And really getting things going and getting essential infrastructure to continue growing. Thank you. Anything you want to add?
But just to your point, Mayor Lindsay, Sustainability Partners was able to coordinate, to be a good partner to you to eat half of the cost increase per can with the new vendor. So that was our contribution and negotiations with you to try to finish out this original scope in a good way to get you those benefits that y'all are already seeing.
Anything else? All right, Director Epler, do you have anything else?
I just wanna add, and I'm gonna throw it out there, kind of put myself on the line a little bit, but I fully expect for us to be $500,000 more in revenue this year in water department than we were last. I may be wrong, but just seeing the trend, comparison of this period, this time last year, I think we're well on track. And these new meters have played a very huge role in it. I think we're gonna continue to see return on investment while we're trying to get the project completed, and definitely after it's fully completed.
That's good news.
That's great news. Nothing further, I'd ask Mayor we'll have Councilor Howell make a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve amended and restated service addendum change order number 1 through Sustainability Partners.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item I. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed. Woo-hoo!
Moving on to item J. Like the discussion to move forward with Angel Fire Department policies, procedures, and guidelines. Chief Vance.
Mayor Lindsay, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland, I have another very boring subject for us. Last year, 2026, I came before you and asked you to approve our 2026 policies, procedures, and guidelines for Angel Fire Department. We've taken those from 20 pages to 190 pages, and that's why you don't have a packet in front of you. So we've done a substantial overhaul for our policies and procedures, and our recommendation is that you adopt these. We have a lot more in-depth procedures for things such as like initial fire attack, things to do on the fire ground, making sure that we're compliant with everything that ISO requires of us before we have our ISO inspection. So just in anticipation of our ISO inspection, to be ready and prepared for that. That's why our PP&Gs grew so much. So it's our recommendation that we vote on and pass those, and
implement them as soon as possible.
Any questions? Discussion? If not, I ask Counselor Howe to make a motion on item J.
I make a motion to approve to move forward with Angel Fire Department policies, procedures, and guidelines.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item J. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed.
Thank you all. Let me know if you have any questions about them. Be happy to answer them offline.
Thank you. This time I'd ask, Counselor Howe to make a motion to move into executive session. Manager Weir, can you list the people that will be in attendance?
It'll just be myself and the, council members.
I make a motion to approve to move into executive session for NMSA 10-15-1H paren 7 to discuss legal matters. Involved will be council and manager.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item K. Mayor Pro Tem Crane. Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Curry. Motion passed, going off the record. This computer, it really messed things up last time. It said it really messed things up last time. Can you just call them?
I can